Source Nation, welcome back to Renaissance Relationship Therapy with me, your host, Life Purpose Coach Tempe. And as I stated earlier, my special guest tonight is relationship coach, Mr. Lucario. And he is here to discuss with us the things that men want from women but will never tell them. And for those of you who may not be familiar with Mr. Lucario, trust me, in an hour you will want to know more from him. And for that, you will be in all sorts of luck. First of all, his dating advice is accessible through his online videos and blogs right on his website, www.mrlucario.com, which he's going to be talking more about and giving that information away later on. And he's also available for individual support and counseling. So he does it all. And right now, he's available to talk with us in the studio. So let's give a warm Source Nation welcome to dating coach, Mr. Lucario. Welcome to Renaissance Relationship Therapy. How are you doing today, sir?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
Doing great. I'm so glad that you're here. I know you got so much to say, and I'm counting on you, bro. I need you to break it down today, you know?
Right.
So, you know, you've done a lot of work. You've been to a lot of places, met a lot of people. Tell us more about what you do, why you do it, the inspiration behind it. Yeah, tell us a little bit about your story, how you got here.
Yeah, so basically I'm a dating and life coach, and I help people find what they want in their dating lives or just their lives in general. And so, you know, I really am passionate about doing this type of work because a lot of people, they are just living their lives in ways that they don't feel is fit for them, but they just kind of settle for a certain type of life. They settle for a certain type of person. They just do things because they think they're supposed to, not necessarily because they want to do it. So what I try to do is I try to tap into what a person actually wants to do and figure out a way for them to get that and for them to, you know, make that possible in their life so they actually have more interesting and more fulfilling life and really get the things that they want. So, you know, that's why a lot of my advice, you know, I tell people I try to get as realistic as possible, you know, because a lot of times when you hear a lot of advice, it sounds good on the surface, but when you try to actually put it into practice in everyday life, you know, it doesn't seem like it's going to work.
Right.
It seems like, you know, it doesn't seem real. So, you know, I try to break it down to like, you know, the reality of the situation so that you can really get help and really make things go down the way you want it to, you know?
Absolutely. And, you know, and like you said, I love the way that your advice is practical. You get a lot of folks that will use whatever it is, just big words and scientific explanations. But in truth, it ain't that deep. A lot of the time.
Right. Exactly.
You know, so getting right into it. Things that men don't really want to say, or they're feeling it, but they won't actually say to the woman in their life. And one of the things that guys will kind of not really say too much about is respect. They want the respect of their woman. No guy wants to be with a woman that doesn't respect him. But they don't necessarily want to beg you for that respect. I guess they want you to figure it out for yourself that, look, I'm respectable, and I'm not going to tell you how to respect me. Respect me the way you feel you should. So I'm asking you, Mr. Lucario, how important is this? And what does it really mean to give a guy respect?
Right. Well, I think most women need to understand first is that when it comes to respect, the respect that you show any guy should be the respect you show everybody. So the respect should be coming from you as a woman just automatically to people. You understand? So when you actually meet this guy, you're not respecting him technically just because he's there or just because he wants it, but you respect him because you respect people. So when you come from that premise first, then it's a little bit more easier to respect people, and that respect will come off. A lot of times what happens is that women will say, well, what is this guy doing to deserve my respect? You feel what I'm saying? So now your respect is something that you sort of turn on or off depending on who the person is. You understand? Instead of me just being a nice person, that's like me saying to someone, what are you doing for me to deserve for me to be nice to you? You understand what I'm saying? So now, like, I'm not really being who I am. I'm just being who I am based off of whoever's in front of me, which is me being no one. I'm not really being anybody. You understand? So it's like, who are you, you know, at the end of the day? And really bring that forward. So if you are a woman who's respectable or a woman who shows respect or gives respect to people, you understand, then that automatically will happen. The thing is, you don't necessarily need to stay with a man who does things that you don't respect. You understand? So if a man is doing something that's like ridiculous or he's a bum or he's not really making anything happen or he treats you badly, you don't have to sit there and, take it. You understand? But the thing is that you should always come to the situation or to the relationship with that level of respect up front. You feel what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, a lot of these guys out here who are doing things and who are making things happen, they meet women who, from the jump, already have a bad outlook on them. There's already resistance there. They're already judging them before anything goes down. And then the woman comes to him and says, not verbally, but this is like the subconscious energy that goes on, is the woman will say something like, well, show me why I should respect you. You feel what I'm saying? And that's the wrong way to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's almost like a test from the beginning.
Right.
And that ain't a good look. And I know that the second one on this list, admiration, this goes hand in hand with respect. Everybody wants to be admired, and women will already say that men have small egos and need to be pampered. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. Being in a relationship, we're here to make each other feel good. We're not going to get into a relationship to feel rubbish, but we want to feel good. So being admired is a great thing that guys like, but one of the things is, it has to be sincere.
Right.
So, because there's a lot of women that will say, oh, that looks great on you, or that looks good, and then they don't really mean it. So tell us a bit about admiration and why it's important for guys to get compliments.
Right. Well, the thing is, a lot of times, this is not even just women, but people in general sort of nitpick at, the negative. They always look at what's wrong versus what's actually good. So even in your everyday life, you wake up or you're about to go to work, like the thing you do is you complain like, oh man, I got to go to work. This sucks. I hate taking this bus or this train or traffic stuff. So you're constantly just nitpicking at everything that sucks. But you don't wake up and say, oh my goodness, I had a great breakfast this morning. The sun is out.
Right.
Birds are singing. You know what I mean? So even when the woman's with her man, there should be something you like about him that you admire. And just say that to him. You know what I mean? Instead of worrying about all the stuff that you think he's doing wrong, what is he doing right? What is he doing that makes you want to be with him? What is it that you like about him? What is it that he's working on right now that, he's trying to make something happen? What is it, like, is he working hard toward a goal? Compliment him on that. You know what I mean? So there's certain things that you can do as a woman to really boost him up in that situation. You understand? And I think a lot of times women will focus too much on that negative aspect in that relationship. It's not a good situation when you're with that guy.
Right. And, nobody likes to feel like, I need you to recognize this about me. I need you to notice this about me. But the truth is, we want the good things to be noticed because you're right. We'll be told about the bad things. So balance it out. We accept the bad things. Tell us the good things.
Exactly.
One of the other right. But one of the other things is companionship. Now, no dude wants to come across like, I've got no friends. I needed to be here today. Dudes don't really want to talk like that. But the truth is, if you're a cool chick and we like you, we're going to want you to be our buddy. We're going to want you to hang out. We may want you to come to a game. We may want you to come out to a bar with us or just watch our favorite TV show. Tell us about that language and how women can bring more companionship or be more like a companion to their guys, because their guys aren't going to beg them to do it.
Right. Well, the thing with companionship also, I think from the beginning, like sometimes, let's say you're not even necessarily in a committed relationship with this woman or whatever, this guy that she's with, she's not really, they're just dating or whatever it is like that. A lot of times, women will sort of string along a guy who they're not really into, you know what I mean? And they'll sort of like just have him there. They're not really that into him. They're sort of like bored with him. They're just sort of playing games or whatever. And so what happens is that sets up a dynamic where the woman isn't really into the dude, so she's not really putting in the effort to actually want to spend time with him. So the guy's calling her, trying to hang out with her. She's like, oh, I don't really know, blah, 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 whatever. You understand? And then sometimes what happens is that a woman might be with a guy like that who she's not really into, but then she gets comfortable with him, and then they end up being in a long-term relationship. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then somehow she's in a long-term relationship with a guy who she's sort of just settled with, who she's not really into, who she doesn't really respect, who she doesn't admire, and then she's not going to really want to be in that situation with him like that. You know what I'm saying? There's no excitement for her to be there, and then that guy ends up turning into sort of a guy who she just has. You ever see women in relationships where their man is sort of almost like their child or some guy who's just on her? You know what I mean? So instead of being a partner he's like her son or her butler or something. You know what I mean? Like it becomes
her accessory.
Exactly, right. You know what I mean? So you don't want that to go down. So I say for women, when it comes to being a good companion, it first starts with don't really get into relationships or deal with guys that you're not really sure you want to be with. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes women will just get with the guy. You know, they're lonely, they're getting older, so they don't want to be alone and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, it doesn't make for a good relationship if you're just with a guy he's just like there. You know what I mean? Like it's not really a thing.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely. The companionship, because the guys aren't going to put it out that they want a companion, but they need that. And the women have to take that outlook that look, this is someone I'm going to be spending time with. We need to get along. We need to feel comfortable and not necessarily use each other or, like I said, treat each other like accessories. We've got to be in this because we get something from each other. I know another one, and I've been in, where as a guy, you really want to say something like, no matter which way you paint it, guys like bodies. You know, when you got a bit of something on the back, you're something up top on the front, we're into it. It's a lie to say that, well, guys, no, it's all about the personality. The personality matters. You know, like I said, don't judge a book by its cover. But we're not going to pick up the book if the cover is rubbish. We're not picking it up. So the cover got to look good. And when it comes to sneakers, to cars, we're going to want the best that we can afford, the top shelf, the plan A. So when it comes to women, no guy wants a plan B or a plan D or a plan E. You want a plan A. What can the women do to respond if they know that their guy wants them to look a certain way? What can they do to respond to that?
Well, I think what women just need to know is that they got to understand how visual men are and understand that your man is going to want you to look good basically at all times. So it's like you have to not slack on your looks. You have to make sure that you keep your looks up, meaning, you know, hit the gym, you know what I mean? And the thing is, you don't have to be looking like a supermodel, but a lot of times guys like to know that their woman is putting effort into their look. You understand? Because a guy wants to be with a woman who looks good because you're representing him. You feel what I'm saying? So the thing is that if you're slacking on your looks, if you are not keeping up your looks, that's something that a guy, he's not going to like that. And then most of the time, guys aren't going to say anything. They're not going to bring it up because they don't want to hurt your feelings. You know what I mean? So,
but they will. I know they'll act a certain way where they may not invite you to so many places, or compliments will stop. You know, it's deep.
You know, it's very important for women to just understand that you have to keep that up, because the thing is, the guy, he won't necessarily say anything. Women think that since he's not saying anything, that it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? But it is actually a big deal. And the reason why he's not saying anything is because he knows if he does say something, that you're going to, you know, get upset. And some guys will say something. And, you know, usually women do get upset when these guys say something. You know what I mean? But at least when those guys say something, like, these certain women understand, okay, I got to keep it up. But most of the dudes are not going to say anything. But the thing is that you make sure you do it, because even though he doesn't say anything, he's still watching. And then if you start to slack off, that might be, you know, the time where a guy actually starts to, you know, want to mess with other women and do all the other stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Absolutely.
Because you're not keeping up with the situation. You know what I mean?
Right. And Source Nation, just in case you're getting anxious, we're going to do another show on the things that women want from men. That they don't necessarily, because all this works both ways. We're just looking at one perspective right now, you know. But the other thing is a pleasant tone of voice. And I heard men complaining forever about the tone of a woman's voice. You know, when that tone is rough, when it's aggressive, it's almost like there's a button in our heads that we can literally just flip off, you know. But when there's a pleasant tone of voice with a woman, sometimes it may change how we even look at her, right? It's the way she speaks. You know, we'll do anything if it's said to us with a really nice voice. How do women respond to that? How do they figure out that, you know, the guy really wants me to speak, to say it nicely? It's not that he doesn't want to cut the grass, but if I keep on asking him like this, I'm not going to get him to do it. What can they do to be more aware of this?
Yeah, I think it just comes with women generally tapping into their femininity. I think a lot of times women think they need to be aggressive and need to be loud because they feel like they're not being heard and all this other stuff. But by doing that, by having that sort of tone and that energy, what happens is that instead of a guy hearing what you're saying, the guy is tuning out because all he's hearing and all he's feeling is the aggression. You feel what I'm saying? So even the stuff that you're trying to get across isn't going to get across because all he's hearing and seeing is the aggressiveness, and that right there already it sort of like blocks what you're trying to say and what you're trying to do, because it's not really natural for a man to interact with a woman in that tone or in that way. You feel what I'm saying?
Right,
like it's a different type of energy. So the thing is that in order for you to get your man to listen to you or to get your point across, it has to come through with a certain tone and a certain energy in you being a feminine woman. And then he'll be listening to what you're saying because he's drawn to that type of energy. You know what I'm saying? It's the same way if a woman has like a sexy voice, you understand, on the phone or whatever, or while you're talking, you want to keep listening because the voice sounds sexy. You know what I'm saying? It's drawing you in because of the energy. You know what I mean? But if you're like super aggressive or you're loud or you're getting all like that, he's already just immediately turned off because he's like, oh, okay, I'm not really feeling this vibe right here. So even if a woman is angry, even if a woman is upset, there's a certain way that you can come across and do it that will have him listen to you. It's almost like this. Like, let's say if you're working at a company and if you had an issue, if you go to your boss's office